What's up, film family, and welcome to the Film Room Podcast. My name's Deion,
My name is Scott.
and today we're doing the new murder mystery, The Sheep Detective. And in this episode, we're going to be responding to the film community from Instagram and Reddit. We're going to get into our deep dive conversation of the movie. And to close off, we have our Filmmies, where we give out 6 awards to the movies we just watched. And but before we get into all that, Scott, we have to give our general thoughts.
General
General
thoughts.
thoughts. So Scott, what were your thoughts on Sheep Detective?
I thought it was a fun movie. I thought it had a really interesting feel with like a mix of the dark mystery. You know, it is a murder mystery. It is a classic whodunit kind of thing, and it is dark in some capacity, but it also has like all the fun stuff like talking sheep, and
Yeah.
just like all of this kind of whimsy around it and fun little bits throughout that they're constantly coming back to. I like that it was like kind of self-aware, like they're talking about the books that George reads to the flock, and they find themselves in one. So they're kind of following that blueprint on how to solve this mystery. I thought that was pretty fun. And I thought the mystery was actually pretty good. I didn't see it coming the way it ended.
Yeah, me neither. And it's funny too, like it gave me a little bit of like Knives Out vibes.
Yeah.
Cause like the first one, it's like the dad or writes the novels, mystery novels, and then the same thing, the sheep are listening to mystery novels. So it's like it's a little meta in that sense of having that in there, which is interesting. And I was surprised like how much I liked the movie because I was skeptical when the original trailers came out because I
Hmm.
was just like, okay, it's just like a kid's movie. It doesn't seem like it's for me. And I thought it was just gonna be like really silly, which I was like, it's fine. That's just not for me.
Right.
But as I started hearing people online talking about like, oh, how much they like the movie, I'm like, okay, I guess there's something else. I don't know if it's the humor that's getting people like attached to this movie, but I think it's obviously like we were talking about the dark and deeper moments where it actually has some emotional weight to it, and there's a lot
Hmm.
of heart in the movie, which is not what I expected. I feel like the trailer didn't, which I don't know how you show that in a trailer for like a kids movie. I guess that's kind of like the surprise that you get when you finally go see it. But
Yeah, I guess you couldn't really. I feel like you couldn't show that in the trailer without giving it away. So like
mm,
that's why they just didn't, which I understand. But like I'm totally with you, man. Like it was way more emotional than I expected. I thought it was very charming too, with like just the sheep and their dynamic within the flock. Like they're all the way that they can just forget things. They don't think death is real. Like they're kind of like kids in that sense. Like they
yeah,
do know about the world and they can interact with the world, but there are also things that they don't know about the world because they're sheep. So like they kind of play both sides of it, but I think it's just kind of fun. The whole winter lambs thing and like that dynamic is kind of going on. Like they think they turn into clouds. Like there's just all these little things that I just find charming, and just that really fits kind of the tone of the movie and really allows you to kind of just have fun with it. I think, it's not trying to do anything too serious. So it kind of allows you just to have fun with it. Even though the mystery is serious in a sense, there's a murder, and
yeah,
we are trying to find out how, who did the murder, but just the whole tone and light feel around everything and the comedic elements of it. I enjoyed it more than I expected. Like when the trailers came out, I was just like, okay, yeah, it's just like, I was like you. I was like, okay, kids movie, that's fine. It's just, I'm not really interested though. And then hearing everyone be like, oh, there's more to this. And like a lot of people enjoyed it. So I was like, sure, let's give it a shot. And I'm with them.
yeah. Shout out to the pod you're looking for.
Yeah, facts.
Those guys are really they were hyping it up, and I was like, okay, I thought they were joking at first, but then they're actually saying that like, no, this movie's actually good, and they didn't spoil it, thankfully. Like they when they started getting into it, I was like, you know what? They're like, let's not spoil it. I'm like, thank you for that, guys. Thank you for not spoiling it. Uh, they were right. They're saying that like go see this movie. It's worth seeing. And yeah, like I didn't expect the mystery, to your point, to actually be like pretty solid too. Like I didn't know where it was leading. I thought it was like it's a kids movie, it's gonna be pretty obvious as like an
Hmm.
adult watching it. But I was actually like sitting there watching the movie. I'm like, one, who did it, and like how did they do it? Like it actually had me like invested. Like okay, what, how, who did this? It wasn't like this
Yeah.
obvious character. Like okay, it's obviously that dude, but probably a kid doesn't realize. I was actually sitting there being like, okay, like I want to solve. Let me see if I can solve this too. Like, how was this done?
Yeah, honestly, I think they do the Pixar thing really well. It's kind of like there's stuff in there for, like, it's a kids movie, I guess, but there's a lot of stuff in there for adults too. Like the mystery itself, like it's pretty complicated. I don't know, like if a kid, I mean, like you said, like a kid almost definitely wouldn't have got it before we get to the end. I mean, we didn't even do that.
Yeah.
But even when you do get to the end and they put it all together and they figure out what happened, like, and they do explain everything, but even as a kid, I would probably still be a little bit confused on what happened, which is okay, I guess. Like, you maybe doesn't even matter that much. Like, I need to know exactly what happened. Like, you're a kid, you're just having fun with talking sheep. So, like, all that stuff is great for kids, but like the emotional beats probably work for them, but they work for us too. Like, I think finding that balance, it's easier said than done, but they nailed it. I really liked it. It's fun.
Oh, yeah, same. I mean, it's elevated Scooby Doo because Scooby Doo doesn't really have like the
Mm,
emotional beats usually in their stories, but like
right.
I love Scooby Doo. Scooby Doo is I always say whenever we do a mystery, Scooby Doo is the reason I like mysteries. It was just from a young age, and though a lot of those still, like, I go throw on a Scooby Doo I've never seen before, and they're pretty good at like the deception of like, oh, it was actually this guy, because usually they're pretty
Mm,
like, usually the person that ends up being, they weren't sketchy at all. So then you're never thinking it was that person. It was really well done. And I think that when you have these kind of mysteries that are like very, again, Scooby Doo like, where it's like you can have the fun with it, but then actually make it okay, wait, who actually is the person that did the killing or did the whatever it is? And then actually throw the emotional weight onto it is just, yeah, it's like you said, Pixar esque.
yeah. Yeah, it was really fun. I mean, I, I think you even could have had, there's like two movies here that both work together. Funny enough, like you could have this whole talking sheep, and like each sheep has their own personality and their own name, and like they kind of have a different thing that they do, and that could almost be its own movie. Obviously, you have to have some sort of conflict around that, but to have a who done it like murder mystery involved is not something you would expect to work, but they totally meld them together super well. And like a whodunit mystery on its own is obviously its own thing. That could be its own movie. But like just this world of like the George and the sheep and the the people on the other side, like the other characters that are like around George, that some of them mess with the sheep, some of them don't mess with the sheep, some of them go into the town, some of them don't. Like just like the way that they construct the world of the sheep themselves, like that could almost be its own movie with a more basic conflict. But the fact that they have it in a whodunit murder mystery and make it work is actually pretty crazy.
Yeah, no, it really is. And I keep getting this sense of like 2026, and just like it's surprising me constantly. Like usually we've like, especially post COVID, there's kind of been like these totem pole movies that like kind of hold up the year for movies, and like we're watching everything because it's like we're movie fans and stuff like that. But like it's crazy this year. Like I've forgotten some of the good movies, like the drama, for example.
Mm,
After I watched like Project Hail Mary and the drama, I was like, all right, this is pretty good so far. And then we still got Odyssey and da. Like I wasn't expecting like Backrooms and Obsession and Michael, and like I haven't even seen Hoppers, but a lot of people said that movie was good too, and like no one's really talked about, because there's just been so many movies to talk about.
I
And
watched
like
that one.
this movie, I didn't expect it to be one of those two. And we're still not even, we haven't even touched the Odyssey and Spider-Man and Dune and
Yeah.
Doomsday all the way at the end of the year, Werewolf and Resident Evil, like the Social Reckoning, Cliff Booth and all that stuff. Like we're eating good.
Yeah. Yeah, man, 100%.
We're eating
I'm
good.
excited for what's to come. And like you said, you're naming all these movies that we're anticipating, and but you're pointing back to the movies that you weren't anticipating that were good. So you have to add on to all those ones, all the ones that you aren't
Yeah.
necessarily on your radar, but are going to be great. So like it's a big movie, big movie,
Yeah.
big year for movies.
No, it really is. It really is. And like this movie, I feel like I didn't realize it was like an Amazon movie, and they still put it in theaters, and it actually did pretty well the box office wise.
Yeah.
Obviously, Obsession and Backrooms just complete, and Toy Story 5, like all these movies just completely just shadowed it, but it still ended up making money just based off the word of mouth of people being like, yo, this is actually Take your kid to go see this. Probably has been like the word of mouth from parents, I assume.
Yeah, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
just
this
people in the
and
movie space.
Project Hail Mary, Hoppers, like you said. I saw Hoppers. That was it was okay. I think it was
Okay.
good. I think it was good. But
Yeah.
I mean, kids movie.
Yeah. No, exactly. But I guess that's it this time though. We've managed to not get into the spoilers, so I think it's time to get in the family meeting.
Let's do it.
I don't have friends. I got family.
All right. Welcome to the family meeting, ladies and gentlemen. I put up a poll on our Instagram asking the question, what's your favorite type of Hugh Jackman performance? This guy, he's got range, man.
Yeah.
He's got, he's been Wolverine for a lot of his career. He's been in serious, dramatic roles. He's This movie, he was kind of light and fun, very likable guy. So those are kind of the three categories I put up. 62% of the votes went to tough action role like Wolverine, which didn't surprise me that won. I honestly thought it was going to be a bigger landslide than that, to be honest. The other 38% of the votes went to the serious or dramatic roles like Prisoners or The Prestige. 0% of people voted for the light and fun stuff.
Fuck fun.
Yeah, seriously. Well, I feel like they're
Nah,
like the Wolverine stuff is the fun
overlap.
kind of.
Yeah, they overlap
like,
a little bit.
it's not light necessarily because Wolverine is like murdering
Yeah.
people and he's crazy, but it is fun just because it's crazy action and I mean, you think of Wolverine, you think of Hugh Jackman, so like
Yeah.
I've expected that to win, but like I don't know. What do you think of the results or your own opinion?
I think you know what there's one movie I struggled with trying to find the place for it because I feel like it overlaps also where it's like the Venn diagram of it, like
Mhm.
Logan. I think Logan is a Venn diagram of serious drama but also tough
Yeah,
action. So
true.
I was like, I don't know where you place that. I think you could
Mhm.
argue both sides.
Um, I honestly would probably put it more in the serious, like dramatic role. I think
Yeah.
there is some like tough action in it, but I think the tone of the movie is very emotional, and he really has to play that just the way the story goes. So I think there's more drama in it than action.
Okay. So in that sense, then I'd probably say serious drama then because like
Mm.
I like Prisoners is one of my favorite movies, The Prestige, and then Logan. If I'm just talking about his movies, in the tough, I like Logan also, which I also put in that category. The original X-Men and Days of Future Past, I really love, and that's
Hmm.
just that. Yeah, that's just all Wolverine right there. But yeah, Logan is that one that I feel like kind of balances. I also like Real Steel. It's a little sleeper movie that
Oh
came out. It's just
yeah.
like the boxing movie where it's like robots.
Yeah, yeah.
Those are fun. That's
I never actually seen it, but I know of it. It's a fun
Yeah, it's
movie.
just like yeah, it's a fun movie. It's basically like it's like a Rocky S type thing, except you just got robots boxing. There's like an actual a real like emotional weight and stuff like that, which is funny because it's like it's robots, but you can always I mean you've seen movies where like they take robots and give them emotions and stuff like that. So like it's or and then play off the humans in the movie having emotions. So it's actually a pretty fun movie. I'm not saying it's a Prestige or Prisoners or
Yeah,
Logan
yeah.
level, but
I mean, we're
it's just
talking
like a
about
fun
this
movie.
movie. Talk about like there's weight and emotion, and it's talking sheep. So
Yeah.
you could
No,
doesn't matter
exactly.
really what the characters are. You just give them human emotions and stuff. You can make it work.
No,
But
it's true. What about
I'm
you?
surprised. I'm surprised like no votes for light and fun. Maybe just because like even Deadpool and Wolverine, like
Mm,
that's something. Yes, there's like kind of tough action because he's playing Wolverine, but the tone of that movie is just ridiculous and fun. So like,
yeah.
and he's cracking jokes. He's alongside Deadpool, and I thought he was great in that too. I guess like is that better than when he's playing Wolverine? I think I would go with the action stuff, like the Wolverine. I
Mhm.
think again, he's so synonymous with the character. He's so great in that role. Like when I think of Hugh Jackman, I think of Wolverine. When I think of Wolverine, I think of Hugh Jackman. And just like I've seen him so many times, like just have that grimace in his face and just and like running through Tokyo or wherever, jumping around, slashing people. hundreds of arrows in his back, just walking through it. Like, oh my god, it's
Yeah.
Wolverine.
He's such a rare case where it's gonna be so weird that like literally what we are like we're 26 years later and this guy has been the only Wolverine. Like
Yeah,
there's
like
no other
15 movies or
superhero.
something.
Yeah, like Iron Man is the only other thing really where it's like we've
Mhm.
seen someone be someone for so long, but I think there's more. I don't know, actually know if is there more. We can just spitball a guess off the top of my head. You think he's been Wolverine in more movies than Tony Stark, and then Downey's been Iron
Yeah,
Man?
yeah, I think because there's a bunch where he's kind of like maybe not a bunch, but there's a few that he's even just like a little cameo. Because there's what the original X-Men, there's
Three of
X-Men, then
them.
there's X2, then there's a third one, right? I don't remember the name
Yeah,
of
there's a
it.
trilogy.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
the
remember
Last
the name of
Stand.
the third.
The Last
Okay, yeah,
Stand.
yeah. And then there's the three like newer X-Men's. Is he? I think see he's in
He's not
first
in all of
class.
them though.
He is.
Yeah, I
He
feel
is
like
in
a
first
cameo.
class. A cameo that counts.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Iron
D-
Man's got cameos too. He's at the end of Hulk. I guess we're gonna count. We can count little cameos like that.
Yeah, I think that's his only. That's the only one that
It's the
is
only
like
small
just a
cameo.
little cameo because he's in like the Spider-Man movies, all the Avengers movies, his own movies, of course, Civil War.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no, that is a lot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, there's 3 Iron Mans. He's in every single Avengers, and then has that one cameo. But then he's also in Civil War.
Spider-Man
in-
movies.
He's in the Spider-Man movies. There you go. It's actually I think it might be
Shoot.
pretty close.
Yeah, let me Google this.
'Cause-
I've actually I want to know now. So
Yeah,
so
because
make a
Wolverine
guess.
Origins. Damn. That's why I threw it out there. I think it might be. I think Downey might have got him. I think he might be in more. But then, yeah, there's obviously the Wolverine and Deadpool.
So
Might
Hugh
be
Jackman has
close.
played Wolverine 10 times in feature films.
Okay.
X-Men, X2, X-Men The Last Stand, X-Men Origins, X-Men First Class, The Wolverine, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, Logan, and Deadpool and Wolverine.
Forgot about Apocalypse too.
Okay.
And then
How
Downey
many times has Downey played
Iron Man. I
Iron
feel like
Man.
it's.
Okay.
I'm going with Downey.
10 times. It's a tie.
Snap.
Iron
Snap.
Man, The Incredible Hulk cameo, Iron Man 2, The Avengers, Iron Man 3, Age of Ultron, Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming, Infinity War Endgame. Actually,
Damn.
he's in more than just the first Spider-Man.
Is
Isn't
he?
he? Yeah, he's at the end. He's at the end of is it Far From Home? Yeah, when he's like, all right, man, like you're an Avenger if you want. And then he's like, no, this is a test, and like I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, Downey might have actually got him.
Yeah, that's wild. But to your point, yeah, you think of Wolverine, you think Hugh, you think of Hugh, you think of Wolverine. And Downey's
Same thing
kind of
with
that
Iron Man.
now too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been in a lot more stuff. But yeah, he just had synonymous with that character. Even when I see like the new X-Men 97 movie star TV shows on its second season, I'm just seeing Hugh, even though he's not voicing it. He never voices the cartoons. They always get someone else. But I'm just imagining it that it's Hugh Jackman, even though it's not.
Let's move to Reddit real quick.
Yeah.
This was kind of weird because I asked the same question, but everybody was talking about like controversy in Hugh Jackman's personal life, which I was just not even aware of, to be honest. So Blueberry Muffin Way said, controversy aside, Prisoners. That was their pick. So someone asked like, what's the controversy? They say he's a part of the School of Practical Philosophy, which has allegations of being a cult. Apparently.
Oh, never heard
Wasn't
of
aware of that. Him being in a cult. I mean, I don't know. Do you really care about that?
Yeah, like I don't go too deep usually into those things. Like what's his name? Jared Leto's like in a cult too, which I've just heard it, and like for whatever reason, like I just don't have the interest to dive much deeper into it because I'm like,
yeah,
I don't really like get too much into the actors' personal lives. Like I'll watch their interviews, hear them talk about their films and stuff like that, but like what they do on their day to day. Like, is he a golfer? Is he a fisher? Is he in a cult? Unless they're doing something terrible, then yeah, I know. They're all the same.
Yeah.
But like, unless it's like he's doing something awful, like he's freaking
Right.
has people in his basement, then I'm like, okay, yeah, I don't want to. Maybe I don't want to watch that dude's films. Maybe he should be in prison. But the cult thing, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't really care. Whatever. Patriotic Pariah said, is this, I mean, another like Hugh Jackman personal thing. It was just, is this Jackman's PR team doing damage control? Because the word is out that he cheats on his wife and can't choose better friends. Again, I mean, don't cheat on your wife. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
like a good thing, but like, again, is that like cancelable? I don't really care
it's
that
just
much.
like it becomes like this thing when you get too deep into like anything. You know what I mean? Like it's a weird thing, I guess. Like, 'cause I'm trying to compare it to, I guess, like sports or whatever it is, or if it's anything that you're consuming, whether it's music. You can just make that moral decision for yourself, where it's just like, yeah, okay, this guy cheats on his wife. I don't listen to his music anymore. All right, that's valid.
Sure.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Like, no, you got to keep watching his movies, bro. Like, no, like if that's your reason, that's your reason. For me though, if I'm just like watching a film and I like the film, I'm not getting into every single character, making sure all their morals align with me
Yeah.
for make sure that I like the
Yeah.
movie or not. Like, I'm just looking at this product as a movie. Like, I'm not. Oh, actually, no. The director has to say different politics than me. So now, actually, you know what? Now I don't like the movie.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Yeah.
It's not that serious for me.
And to me, like, honestly, I feel like at this level, like all these celebrities, I feel like it's probably pretty common that people cheat on their wives and husbands, and we probably just don't know about a lot of it. So
Yeah,
whatever.
no, exactly.
So I'll finally shout out Long Odd that said kind of your answer, the Logan type. I was like, that's just, like you said, kind of a mix of both. So
Yeah,
decent answer.
no, for sure.
Well, that does it for the family meeting then. Next up,
Yeah,
we got the deep dive. I'll throw in a quick point first. It's just, I mean, honestly, a lot of my points in the deep dive are kind of just like funny little things, like the start of the movie, like not the previews, but like the opening credits, I guess. The tiger roar from the MGM lion.
Oh yeah,
is just a sheep buying. That's great.
Yeah. No, that is good. That is good. It's just like the little, even just like you have just the little paw prints that are like show up on the screen. Then it turns into Sheep Detective. I was like, oh, I didn't even realize that was that, because I saw the title and it was the little sheep prints, but until they displayed it like that, I'm like, oh, that's cute. That's a nice little. Why not?
Yeah, that was
a little
fun.
attention to detail thing. I think the CGI was really good.
True.
If we're gonna like just like, and I had to look into it book too, because I was like, sometimes I feel like it just looks really goofy. Maybe I'm just like reverting back to the movies we watched as kids, where you just like you'd see the animal and then it's like you see like their mouth kind of has like a little voiceover thing over them. But the CGI in this looked really good, and I actually really, as I looked into it, I still didn't really see anything on and I probably wouldn't even really understand the computer tech that went into it. But I did see that like on set they actually had these little dolls for them like to play off of, and I think they kind of had like little dots on them that maybe helped with it making it more realistic. I don't really know, but I just had to shout out the CGI. I thought like it looked actually like really good.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. I actually really agree, and it's always tougher, I feel like, when you're mixing real actors and CGI characters, because you always wonder, like, obviously there's not sheep there that they're talking to. Sometimes, you have like a puppet and you can speak to the actor. I don't actually have any evidence for this, but for whatever reason, I feel like the voice actors for the sheep weren't on set talking to the human actors in the movie. I don't know if you saw anything about that, but like if that's the case, do they just have someone opposite them reading them lines so that they can then act off of that, and then they have the voice actors come in later? Or like I don't know the logistics of this, but like it all came together pretty nicely. So whatever they did worked.
No, for sure. And I did see like a couple people like saying what they did, like Bryan Cranston and stuff like that. Like they're basically just in the studio, right? And like they're just reading their lines. I assume that like, again, yeah, someone's reading back to them, but they're not actually like reading to each other like all that, like because there's a lot of big actors in here. They're not all like in the studio. Sometimes they do that if the studio's big enough. If it's like a Disney, they're probably like, yeah, you guys are all coming in studio. We're gonna pay you this much money. They're like, okay, cool, yeah, fly me out, did all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, this is Amazon, so they 100% could afford to do that too. But they're probably just like, nah, everyone just go record their stuff. Go to the closest studio, just record your stuff. But I assume, like you said, they're probably someone reading back. Otherwise, you're just reading lines.
Yeah.
Just reading line. It's just like, I don't know how you really invoke any emotion or like have some like realness to it.
Yeah, that's got to be tougher, I feel like, for an actor to do. But like we said, like it doesn't, like, it's pretty seamless. It doesn't feel like they're just talking to nobody. Like, it feels like they're, I don't know, it feels like it's well done. It feels like they're all real talking sheep.
Yeah. And besides the obviously like Hugh's character, like George, he, even though like the animals don't talk to him, he's going through these moments where he has to like, he's just reading to sheep that obviously don't talk, which it kind of plays into it. They don't talk back to him anyway. The sheep only talk to each other and the humans only talk to each other. So at least the humans don't have to worry about like, oh, I gotta talk to something that's not there, that's talking back to me. They're all just talking to humans.
True.
Other than
George.
Other than George. Yeah,
true.
he's really the only person. And he's not really in this movie that much.
No.
Majority of his time in the movie is like flashback stuff.
Right. Yeah, or like right at the start, like setting up who he is and his relationship and like the whole flock. And like, I really like that start of the movie, just like kind of introducing all the characters and all their names and all their different, they all have like a little nugget to their personality. Like Sebastian's a loner and Wool Eyes is Wool Eyes, the twins, the Ram twins that just run into stuff. Like all that stuff, it adds to like, I feel like the charm of this movie. And that kind of fits with like a whodunit thing too, where like a lot of times every character in the whodunit that's like a suspect has something to their character, has like a reason for why they're being suspicious. And I think that was actually really well done in this movie too. Like everyone has somewhat of a reason to kill George, or what we thought might have been a reason to kill George. Like they were all suspicious in some capacity.
And I guess, now we're taking off the veil. We're getting into spoiler territory. Okay, yeah. So like we will be talking about we don't necessarily say right now, but just in case something slips, just like you've been warned if you're listening. But I like you said though, I do appreciate them being able to, especially from the beginning, you kind of get the lay of the land of like what all these characters are like from the beginning, and like the humans and the sheep. So we really get their personalities. Like every murder mystery, everyone always has a motive. Everyone doesn't like George, or like you're like, okay, there's something weird here. Even though you don't really necessarily know with like the priest, just the way he just comes in all angry, just drops the money and walks out. You're like, okay, there's something here.
Yeah,
I like, this is a mystery. So like, there's all these little things. Beth taking the note. You're just like, okay, what's going on here? Like, I like those. That's always a fun part of a mystery. You're always wondering.
I think Beth, for me personally, like this is what I love so much about talking about these types of movies specifically, is kind of like who you were on and why and at what points things change. So like for me, Beth, I think I wouldn't say like I saw it coming, like I knew it. She liked him and that's why she was like doing the letter thing. But like I think that was where I was leaning when she stole the letter. I was like, you're taking this letter. I don't think this really has anything to do with this murder. And because when the male person comes into the room and like is talking to her, and she's like, oh, it's rose scented paper, and she's like, these are love letters, and then she gets really mad about it, and that's when she takes it. So I was like, okay, I think she's pissed because she's jealous. She used to like him, or they had a thing before. That's an ex. And so that doesn't, I suppose that could mean like jealousy thing. That's why she murdered George, if that's what it was. She goes back, who are you sending these love letters to? You should be with me. But I don't know, to me that just felt like there wasn't enough there. And then when the whole money thing, like the $30 million thing gets revealed, I'm like, okay, I feel like this is more of a reason to kill someone. So like the jealousy thing doesn't really make sense to me. So I was kind of off, Beth.
Yeah, no, I feel you too. Like I mean, they really like pushed it when she was just like, I could kill him. You said you would kill him. I'm like, I was like, what happened? Like, I was assuming too there was some kind of past relationship here too, but I was like, to the point where she's this bitter. I'm like, what?
Mm,
What happened? We still don't really know.
yeah.
Like we kind of know, but like we didn't get like a flashback of the relationship and then see them be in love and then like things kind of like fade and like maybe he said something that really upset her because she's just really bitter. And yeah, I didn't know if it was kill worthy, but I was like, it's a murder mystery, so maybe there was something that was slipped in there that happened, a flashback or something that's like, oh, so this is why she wanted him dead.
Yeah. Yeah. The priest, like you said, that was a good one of just kind of like the money. Anytime there's money involved, that's always clear motive. So like
Yeah,
drops a bunch of money. Something's going on here. We don't know what it is. But like I was on him a little bit, but he also wasn't that involved in the story. He was kind of to the
yeah,
side, which doesn't necessarily mean he's not the killer. That's almost the perfect
exactly.
place to put a killer is like someone that you don't not really thinking about, right? But yeah, I wasn't really on him. I thought it was interesting though, like the whole list thing. Like in his will, he has
Hmm.
the whole list of suspects. You have a victim and two killers and a spring lamb, a fool and a bad shepherd. And the way you kind of think about it in a literal sense of, you know, like one of the killers is my killer, the other one is a victim, so there's another killer. So I was like, okay, so maybe someone else is gonna die. And then
Hmm.
there's, you know, a bad shepherd, and there's the black guy, I can't remember his name, that he was
Oh, Caleb.
Caleb. Yeah, he's on the other pasture or the other meadow. So we're like, okay, he's probably, and they were pissed at each other. So I was like, okay, he is clearly the bad shepherd. But no, then when it comes out with the priest and he's like, no, I'm the bad shepherd. I was like, oh, this,
Yeah.
like that whole list thing, and it just leads you astray. Like it leads you in this direction, but it's actually there. That was really cool.
Yeah, no, it's that's what makes it so well done too. And like that's any good mystery, right? Like the original thing that hooks you was like, okay, who killed him? You know
Mm-hmm.
what it is, and then like there's all adding these little layers in here too, like that little list thing. You're hearing that all those titles, and you're like, there's more to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not the obvious thing. So then you're wondering like, what does that mean? You know what I mean? And like even just like with Sebastian too, it's like he's like, oh yeah, he comes, he leaves. You're like, we're gonna get more of this. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
he's so secretive. There's more to his story. You know what I mean? And like Rebecca comes in, and it's like there's more to this story. I don't know if you actually like were biting on the whole. He has like another like kid. Like I don't know if that even like piqued your any of your interest, or you thought that was even relevant.
Not really. I mean, that's why I say like I didn't see it coming at the end because like, you know, they get the phone call, and it's so good too that he's in the room, and
Yeah,
then they're like, the lawyer comes, kicks him out, and then they make the phone call. And I'm like, okay, he has another son. I honestly should have peaked that. Like $30 million, boom. That's like should be like
yeah,
flashing lights, red sirens, like motive right there. Like $30
yeah,
million, that's big. But when his daughter comes in, Rebecca, and we're like, okay, the money goes to her in this case, that's as clear as day, like motive. She kills him, she gets $30 million. But that just seems too obvious. And
yeah,
why would she come in here and then have all the, like, she has this fake alibi? They show all the fake stuff, like they find her bracelet and the berries in her boots and all this stuff. And I'm like, if that's what this mystery is, then that's just really lame. I suppose like if you want to make it as clear as possible for kids, then you're like, okay, this is just who did it. And
yeah,
sometimes like the obvious answer is the real answer, but we're watching a movie, so we want it to be a little more fun
yeah.
than that.
No, for
So
sure.
I was kind of like, nah, this is too obvious. So I should have been on the sun, but I wasn't.
Yeah. And to your point too about it being too obvious if it's being Rebecca, sometimes that is the perfect thing where it's just like it's too obvious, it's not that person,
True.
and then you move away, and then it actually ends up being that person because everyone in the mystery is like, no, it's too obvious, it doesn't make sense, like it can't be that person. Like I think like Knives Out, I think it did that. I can't remember which one. I feel like the third, like, yeah, the third one. No, not getting into spoiler territory of other mystery movies. We're just spoiling everything, even movies that were not involved in this movie. But yeah, it's hard for me to not make comparisons because then I'm giving away the plots of other mysteries. But sometimes I feel like that works when you just feel like, yeah, this is the killer. And then you're like, oh, no, that's too obvious. It's probably someone else. And it's like, then you move away from it and it's like, oh no, that actually is the killer. Like they lead you that way. And then I just like when mysteries do that. They pull you this
Yeah.
way, pull you that way. make you forget the obvious thing. Like again, like the son that's just that we hear on the phone and we never see.
Mm-hmm.
That should just be like a red flag to you.
Mm-hmm.
But because they distract you with the priest and like with Ham and with Caleb and the
And the
daughter,
sheep starts
you
running
just get
around.
distracted.
And then like so
Yeah.
immediately you're not thinking about it. Like he's just running around bashing into stuff. And then you see the pillowcase with the same green that was on his hand. And you're like, okay, something's there. That's some kind of clue, but I don't really know what it is. And I mean, your point about sometimes it's the obvious person. I think that could be interesting if it's like, okay, this is the obvious person, but it's not in the way that it seems. You know what I mean? It's like we see all this evidence, so it's them, and because of all this evidence, but no, it is them, but they did it in a completely different way for a completely different reason than you expected. That could be interesting too.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think another interesting thing that the element they added in this movie was the whole forgetting angle.
Yeah,
Like how they introduced that with we're scared, like, which I thought was gonna be like a joking thing, but it's actually just like, no, this is like canon to this world. If these sheep close their eyes and count to 3, they literally will forget.
yeah,
And like they do that a couple times. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. This is definitely gonna keep coming back and something they're gonna play with. But I thought that was interesting. I've just never seen that in in a movie, like, period. And I was like, oh, that's
yeah,
a fun concept to play with. Just
yeah,
being able to forget.
yeah. And I mean, I think that it kind of like comes back in a theme that they want to, I guess, talk about at the end of the movie when it's like, you know, Lily kind of realizes that like maybe I shouldn't be forgetting all this stuff. You know, like all the sheep that I think turn into clouds, like no, like those are sheep die, people die. Like I didn't realize that. I thought it was just in books, but no, it's real. So maybe I shouldn't be forgetting this stuff. Like she was gonna forget about George, and then she's like, no, you can't forget about George. Like that's your shepherd, you know, that's your guy. So like all I feel like there's kind of a lesson in that of yes, things can be painful, but it's important to remember them. And you know, it's Mopple that's like, you know, it's the memory of our loved ones that, you know, keep them around even after they're gone. So like even just a little thing like that that's a little on the nose, but like for a kids movie it totally works. So I think that's kind of just like I keep using the word charm. Like I think all that stuff just adds to the charm of the movie.
No, and that's why I find it so interesting too, because like to your point, it's like we're obviously adults watching it, so for us we're like, yeah, of course. But then you really like I'm just imagining like a 10 or like a 12-year-old watching this, and it's like that's gonna hit deep. Like
Yeah.
that's probably like it's probably something they didn't even think about. Maybe if they haven't lost anybody yet, or maybe like they just lost someone, like a grandparent or something like that, and then it's just like, oh yeah, it does hurt to like think about someone that's passed away, but like, yeah, keeping them in my memory. Like I just think of the good time. Like it's just like, damn, we're talking about experiencing and how to grieve, basically, and how to handle death from just like a children's movie that for the most part is just like pretty silly, but they actually have some emotional weight in it, as we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. I wanted to jump back to the list just because I was wondering, like I said, like I have the list here. I was
Yeah.
wondering, like, do you think we should go through and kind of figure out who's who? Like I was kind of trying to think of that throughout the movie, and some of them I think are clear. Like a victim, I think he's talking about Rebecca. I think Rebecca's
Mhm.
probably the victim. Just because she's somehow he foresaw all of this. I don't know. George
Yeah.
is somehow a fortune teller, but like even with the will reading, when Ham gets up and walks away, and then she's like, "Ham, shut up and sit down." And he's
Oh
like, "No,
yeah.
that's written here." It's like, how did you know that?
Yeah, no, that part was pretty funny. That got a good
Yeah.
laugh out of me because
So
yeah, you just
if
yeah.
Rebecca's the victim because she's the one kind of being, you know, blackmailed or not blackmailed, but framed
Framed.
for this. Two killers is clearly Ham and Caleb because they're the ones,
Yeah.
you know, slaughtering the sheep. A spring lamb. Who do you is that? Maybe that's I guess that's
Beth.
the Beth. Yeah, he's like, oh,
Mhm.
that was my girl. Like she's a nice spring
Yeah.
lamb. I liked her. But I loved Lily. So I loved
Yeah.
her. I love my ex, or I guess not
Mhm.
ex because she died, but like I loved my wife so much, so I
Yeah.
just can't be with a new person. But it's not that he didn't like Beth, so maybe she's the spring lamb. A fool and a bad shepherd. So a bad shepherd is the priest.
Yeah, the priest.
So the fool's the cop.
Yeah, fool's the cop, I guess. But who's the winter lamb? Is that the
Winter
son?
Lamb. Winter Lamb wasn't in the
Oh, Winterland was on the
list.
list. Okay,
No,
you're right. Yeah, yeah.
it wasn't on the
So yeah, I
list.
guess the fool. Yeah, I guess the fool is just
The
the
cop,
cop.
but he figured it out. He
Yeah,
needed
he did
help,
figure it
but he
out. He
did
got the
it.
sheeps. Yeah. Did George know the sheep were gonna help him? Did he have
He
that
did,
much
bro. He knew
foresight?
everything. He knew everything, bro.
Who else could be a fool though? Did he know
Maybe
his son was a
his
fool?
son. No, because if he knew his son was a fool,
Yeah, true. He wouldn't
then
have.
actually at the same time, this is a forged will. So it's his son that wrote this list.
Oh yeah, that's
So then how
true.
did his son know to write in the will that Ham was gonna do that?
Maybe he added into his pieces. Like he just took the original will and then just added in the 30 mil to.
Mm,
That's what I'm assuming. Yeah, because otherwise, yeah,
yeah.
there's a little you find a hole to poke in.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. I'm just assuming he took the will and just like, all right, I'm just gonna add in the 30 mil part, but keep everything else the same. That
Yeah.
George would
Okay.
know.
Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I guess the fool would have to be the cop.
Yeah.
Why would he call the cop a fool? I feel
I
like he never
mean,
did him dirty, did he?
no, I think maybe he just knows him. Like he knew
Mm,
that dude's hand was gonna get up, and I think if he knows the cop is not the
yeah.
smartest, not the
Okay. That's
sharpest
fair.
tool.
I
Yeah.
that list I just thought it was interesting. I was like, we gotta figure out who's who. But I think we did it.
Yeah,
I think we did it.
yeah, I think we did it. Yeah, because otherwise, who else would be the spring if we had to change the spring lamb?
The
I
cop, I
think
guess.
Beth just fits it the best. Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
yeah,
And then
maybe
Beth's the fool.
yeah. He's like, "Yeah, Beth, you're a fool. You thought I was gonna like you. You ain't nothing compared to Lily. Come on now, you ain't nothing compared to my
Yeah,
wife. Please.
I like that one. Let's go with that one. I like that. I like that version better actually. So we'll
Okay,
rock with
nice.
that one.
Sure.
I mean, I guess I
That
already
was a
I
cute little
talked.
thing too. Just like the
Yeah,
end that we find that Beth tells Rebecca that his wife's name, like her mom's name, was Lily, and we're like, oh, so he named
yeah,
like his
that's a
smartest
nice.
sheep his nice sheep Lily.
Yeah,
That was a
no,
nice
that
little
is
touch.
sweet. That is sweet. I did like that, and then even the whole like the winter lamb thing too. Like as we're,
Hmm.
I messed up and thought it was on the list too. I like that whole concept too.
Yep.
Like just kind of being like instead of just saying the black sheep because black sheep would have been the easy thing to say. Like the black sheep is always the like the different one, the loner one. Sebastian was black,
Hmm.
but it was he's making it seem like it's a race thing. Sebastian was black, but
He was.
but yeah, he was
He was
black.
he
But
was sipping on 40s and he was, eating fried chicken and things,
yeah, I get. Yeah, every time he left is because he was rapping or something. He was working on his
going to the strip
mixtape.
club.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We can say that, guys. If you're just listening and you don't know, we happen to be black, so we can make those jokes.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought the concept was interesting too. Just them playing around with that, and part of it was like, what is this winter sheep like a thing that I just don't know about, like a term that was set that's used a lot, but it's literally just what it is. I
Yeah.
looked it up after.
Same. I Googled it too. I was like,
Yeah,
is this real? And like apparently it is real, and like it sometimes it can be difficult with like just with the colder season getting milk supply and stuff, but like they're not really exiled from flocks very much. That's mostly kind of a thing in the movie. But I did like the addition to it of it into the movie. Like it's just another wrinkle. You know what I mean? Like there's just
mm,
so many little things kind of at play here in this movie. And like the winter lamb that's kind of off to the side. It also makes sense why then the winter lamb's like, oh, I saw George's ghost because I wasn't
mm,
with the flock. I wasn't with you guys, right? So I'm just
yeah,
hiding out over here. And so I could see this thing. And then when they get added into the flock at the end of the movie, again, it's just kind of like a nice little thing. Like, and then she names him George after George, obviously that died. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
that's another nice little thing. Like I like that there was so many little things at play here. And then it was interesting that Sebastian, we find out that he was Winterland when we
yeah.
get his backstory, like, oh, he found him in the circus, fighting dogs, and then Lily's like, wait, does that mean, oh, I'm surprised you didn't find out sooner. And we're like, oh, he's a winter lamb. So I like that a
Yeah.
lot.
No, it was great. And yeah, Sebastian even being like, yeah, sooner or later, the winter lamb just leaves. They're like, "Where was your
Hmm.
flock?" It's just like, "No, I got exiled." And sooner or later, you're just like, you know what? Forget them. You know what I mean? Like they're like just because I was born in a different month, and maybe there is like I didn't do like excessive research on the whole thing, but maybe there is a little bit of that because like if that lamb needs to be cared for, like I don't know how deeply sheep are thinking about that, but like there's this one lamb that the shepherd's taking care of more because it's like it
Mm.
needs a little more of that care. Do they get jealous? They'd be like, no, like he gets more attention than us. Like, do they care? He looks a little different than us. Like, we're all the same size and we all got fed the same, so we kind of look the same, but that one looks a little different. So do they actually like shy away from that sheep? I could
I
see
don't
that.
think so.
It's possible.
I didn't. I googled it and I kind of saw what came up. I didn't dive too deep into it, but like from what I read, it was like, nah, it's mostly just kind of in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I figured. But it's fun. It's fun to think. It's fun to. Another thing too. Like, I mean, it kind of goes. Well, it doesn't say that it goes without saying, but this movie is just like very British. With it's just with this its own tone in itself. Like
Hmm.
suddenly, like obviously not everyone. Obviously, like Rebecca stands out because she's the American. She has the American accent, stuff like that. But just like that, the playfulness and like the tone. Like I don't know if you've never seen Paddington, haven't you? Have you?
No, I have
Now,
not.
Paddington's another one of those too, where it gave me the exact same feeling. This movie, I was really late to the whole Paddington train. I saw the Paddington movies come out. I was like, okay, it's a talking bear. Looks really silly. No interest. I watched the first movie with Eloise, shout out the producer, and really good. I watched the second movie, really good. So then I was
Oh,
locked in.
damn.
Now I've watched the whole trilogy. And I'm just like, Paddington has that same kind of vibe where it's like, oh, it's obviously it's really British. You're in London, all that stuff, and you think it's like a silly movie, which it is silly, but there's a lot of emotional weight and there's a lot of like depth in like the characters that I just didn't expect. So like I very similar comp to Paddington. Paddington is not a murder mystery, but there is like a mystery element to Paddington and like all the movies, and it's just I can't speak highly enough about Paddington, y'all.
Mm.
Go check out Paddington. You haven't seen it.
Okay, yeah, say less. I was actually in Paddington, like in the area last year.
Oh, okay.
So like
Yeah.
I'd heard obviously about the movie and stuff, and like you see, there's a bunch of like souvenirs of the bear and stuff, but like I hadn't seen the movies, and I knew it was popular, but I figured it was popular among kids. I didn't know it was one of those ones that's actually a good movie for adults too.
No, it's up there. I mean, like take it with a grain of salt with an IMDb rating or a Letterbox rating, but go
Sure.
look at the ratings on Letterbox for Paddington 1 and 2. The third one is decisive. I like it, but I mean I can just tell you. I don't know if you actually want to go check it out, but
Yeah, I'm googling. I'm well, not googling. I have Letterbox, but
okay. Pretty highly rated. The third one people don't love as much. I actually personally still think the third one is fun. I think it's rare. I think two is
Paddington.
better than one.
Yeah, I
And I
mean
think two
the
is
crowds agree with
dope.
you. Paddington 1 is 3.8 on Letterbox. Paddington 2 is a 4.1.
Yeah.
Paddington in
Well
Peru, that's
deserved.
the third one.
Yeah.
3.4. So still pretty good.
Yeah, it's decent. But
Yeah.
no, it's those ratings are legit. Like it's not
Okay.
just because usually I feel like even with kid movies are bad, people are still shitting on the ratings. And
Yeah.
if it's good, then people give it the good ratings that they deserve. But
I put a lot, actually
no,
put
it's
a
fun.
decent
I
amount of
think I think
weight
it's
in Letterbox because I think um it's it kind of just takes everybody's opinion, right? It's not critics necessarily. Like critics, I don't put a lot of weight into that. But Letterbox, like it's just everybody puts in their score, and it's just an average of everybody. So like the people that love it way too much get canceled out by the people that are hating on it way too much, and eventually it kind of finds its rightful spot on the scale. And I actually think it's a pretty good litmus test. Obviously, like I have my own opinion on things, and I might think
yeah.
differently than like consensus, but I think it's actually it's pretty fair judgment on movies. I like it.
For sure. And I think now you have like these two mediums which work really well because Letterbox is definitely like it scales more Gen Z, it's younger. And then IMDb is like older. So you can actually see like a distinct difference in what the
Hmm.
younger generation thinks of a movie versus what the older generation. Like IMDb is like that's like 30, everybody like 30 older. And you could be 30 older and still be on Letterbox, but like everybody that's like Gen Z, they're like maybe like 20 something down, like 25 down or whatever, like they're all on Letterboxd. So like they'll think that Spider-Man is the greatest movie. I think Spider-Man's probably like in the top 10, like top 10, but on IMDb it's not. Like the new
Yeah.
animated one, or like certain newer movies, they're like, this is the greatest movie ever. But they haven't even seen some other movies. That's probably like The
Right.
Godfather is I think Godfather is still pretty high, but certain movies like
It
that,
is.
movies are like 80s, 70s classics that are like massive and high on IMDb. The younger generation probably haven't, some of them haven't even seen it yet, so it's not as high on that list. So you see that difference in like the generational, what they like think is peak cinema versus the other generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to shout out the Family Guy moment in this movie.
Oh,
when did you know? Yeah, you were clocked that when Will Eyes gets the book, he goes into the trailer and gets the book, and then they're like, "Oh wow, I didn't think you could actually do it." He says, "I am, after all, a sheep detective." I was like,
Yeah, a little,
nice. Got to mention that.
little point at the camera. Yeah, you gotta
Yeah,
mention that.
And so another like little clue, I guess, like just that I saw, I didn't really clock it, but I read it afterwards. It was like, so Elliot is wearing a blue shirt and a gold tie throughout the whole movie,
Mhm.
which is a clue that he's the killer. You know, the blue and the yellow that mix together to make green, like that. What, like when I had seen the green, like we see the blue, we see George for the first time. He's got green on one hand and blue on the other hand. And the blue, I was like, okay, that's the Orf medicine. Like we saw that he was mixing it up
Yeah.
with his hands. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. I didn't think of, okay, that would mean there's blue on both hands. So we need some yellow to make that green. I didn't think of that. So when I saw the green, they initially said like, oh, it's a grass stain on his hand. I was like, I don't think that's true. But
Yeah.
so I didn't think it was grass, but I didn't know what it was. The whole like mixing yellow, like that was cool.
Yeah, no, that's smart. I was the same thing too. I was like, that's definitely not just grass, because like that's pretty intense. Like how much was he squeezing on that grass for it to leave his whole hand green? Like they didn't say it was a struggle, so at least like they protect themselves in that sense. Whereas like maybe he was like holding onto the grass to try to like fight back, or like as he was getting like, like it wasn't a choke, but just whatever the fight was, where it's like, okay, but I was like, that's not grass. There's something
Yeah.
else here that's gonna come back later. But I definitely wasn't like, oh, it's you grab the dude who had blonde hair, and that's what
Right,
that's the mix. So like,
yeah.
yeah, like if anyone says that, I'd be like, all right, sure, dude. Like, here's your gold star. You figured out the sheep detective, but I didn't think it was that obvious, and my mind definitely didn't go there.
Especially because when he his car, right? When he hits his car, at first I was like, come on, Elliot. Like you just drove off the, like, I get like, you know, maybe you slip a little bit, you end up in the ditch or something, but like you like totaled your car against a tree. Like, come on, bro. Like I almost gave that my lazy word. But the fact that I was like, okay, he did it on purpose. This should maybe be a lazy word to me. Like, again, that's a clue. Like, it was so obvious. Like, how did you get off the road at this point? But then he comes back and he sees someone in the meadow. So I was like, oh, I guess that's the person that did it. And he was in the car with the tow truck. So like, it couldn't have been him. So that's why I was also off of him. But like the way it all comes together in the end, I think the clue that the sheep leave for the cop, like the whole blue is over here and yellow and the green is over here and the yellow, like it works for the movie because like it's not really supposed to be clear to us yet from that. Like we still have to have the classic big scene where it's like, I know who did it, and then they explain the whole thing, and like that always works. But like if the cop, he was calling the cop a fool, but he got it from that clue, hey, props to him. But like that scene coming together, I really like that too. It's just it's classic whodunit. You gotta have it, and it lives up to the expectation.
No, it really does. And I think we talked about when we did the Knives Out movies, where it's like sometimes like obviously you want to know who did it, like the who did it of it, the aspect, but it's also the how. Like there was part of me that I was like, I still don't understand how this came to be. And that's, to me, that's always just as interesting. Where even if I'm like leaning towards something, which in this one I wasn't, but I was like, okay, how was it? How did they do it? Like I don't get it. And like I don't know why Rebecca was so sus. Like as you're watching this, and I'm kind of thinking like, I don't think it's her. Why is she acting so weird? And the end,
well,
when you
because
realize
of her
it's not her.
past.
Yeah, I
Right?
guess
She's like, I had to lie.
That is fair. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's such a well done movie. I don't know if you have any other specific notes or things you want to
one
add.
last point. I just like a couple clever times that they didn't translate they're called bleats. I had to look that up. Like a
Okay.
baa, like when a sheep baas, like when a dog
Mhm.
barks, it's called a bark.
Yeah.
So a sheep, it's called a bleat. So when they,
Okay.
obviously they're translating it for us because we don't speak sheep. So like they're speaking English, but there's a couple times where they actually just have them ba, and I thought it was really funny. It's like when Lily says the killer was the nephew in the book at the beginning. They're like, no, 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 he forged the evidence, and it's him. We know that's him. And then it cuts later to him reading the book, and like they find out that she's right, and then they just cut to the sheep, and she baws, and then they all just bah. There was like,
Yeah.
we know what she said, right? Like we
Yeah,
don't, you
yeah.
don't need to translate that. She just said, "Told you so," and they're all like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." And then there was another time when, because they always think it's a drifter, and the cop,
Mm.
like at the early in the movie when they have like this whole town hall, be like, "Yes, there was a murder, and it was certainly a drifter," and then it goes back to the sheep, and they're just by. And we're like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, again, we you don't need to translate what they're saying. We know it. That was just clever and fun.
I also think it's funny, like another one of those examples too, is at the end when Rebecca's reading the book and they just start bawling and she's like and she starts reading out loud. Like we know that they're like, yo, read out loud like your dad used
Right.
to do. But how
Yeah.
did she know that like, oh, maybe I should read this out loud? Where did she get the sense
She's
that
it's in her blood.
I guess so. Also, that's not a really that's not a book. It's not a mystery book. You're literally just like how to take care of sheep 101. Why do they want to hear her read that book?
That's true. I guess she would. I mean, like I said, I think it's just in her blood that she knows that. Why would they want to read it? I think they just, it's like a kid. You just enjoy having a bedtime story. I think that's fair.
That
But
is
at the
fair.
same time, like,
That's fair.
are they like they know this, or maybe they're reading it and like something will come up and they'll be like, oh, you got to do this with sheep, and they're just like, that's totally wrong. We don't want that. You know what I mean? But they can't really say it. But it would just be a fun thing. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair. Um, I do have a game for you,
You
Scott.
got a game.
If you don't, I got a game. If you don't have anything else that you want to throw out
Nope.
there about the
No,
movie
let's do
before
it.
we hop into the game, it's related. It's a talking animal movies related, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
basically one of those games. Like I played this with Eloise when I did the whole like it's kind of like you pick this or that kind of thing, and you keep moving on. So like I'm gonna name to explain it to you so it makes sense. I'm gonna name a movie with a talking animal, and then I'll name another one. And then you have to pick one, and then you just keep moving on to going forward. Just to make it easy, if you haven't seen it, just pick the other one. You don't have to
Okay.
be like, yeah. It'll be quick that
I'm
way.
just
You don't.
going off of vibes, anyways. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. You
Whether
don't
I've
have to
seen it
out
or not, I'm just
yourself.
going off vibes.
Exactly. You don't have to out yourself, and the internet screams at you like, "Oh, how come you never seen?"
Yeah, whatever.
What
They'll
was that
scream at me
movie I
anyway.
said? Coochie Cats 3 or whatever. I don't even
Coochie
remember the name
litter,
of the
yeah,
movie.
5,
Yeah, yeah, cat. Yeah,
It's
yeah,
okay.
exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna start. I won't throw this movie in here just because. Actually, maybe I will. Yeah, we'll start with Sheep Detective.
Okay.
We'll go Sheep Detective and 1998 Doctor Doolittle.
Oh,
Eddie Murphy.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Sheep Detective.
Okay. 2006 Charlotte's Web.
Charlotte's Web.
Okay. 1999 Stuart Little.
Oh, Stuart Little. Hell yeah.
Okay. So Stuart Little or Cats versus Dogs.
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little or Garfield 2004.
Stuart Little.
Stuart Little or Narnia.
Stuart Little.
Okay. Stuart Little or Air Buddies.
Air Buddies. Is that like a
Yeah.
sequel of Air Bud or?
It's like he had puppies and then they had a bunch of movies, but
Oh.
they could talk because Air Bud never talked, but
Okay,
the Air
true,
Buddies
yeah.
could talk.
No, we're sticking with Stuart Little, man.
I think yeah. Stuart Little or Alvin and the Chipmunks.
I like the Alvin and Chipmunks, but like for the movie, I'm sticking with Stuart Little. I love that movie, dude.
I Stuart Little or 101 Dalmatians.
I'll go Dalmatians 101.
Okay.
I don't know why I don't know why I just flipped it, but 101
Yeah.
Dalmatians.
All right, 101 Dalmatians or Underdog. I don't know if you've even seen that movie.
Oh no, I never watched that one, but I'm sticking with 101 Dalmatians.
All right, and last one, 101 Dalmatians or Zookeeper.
101 Dalmatians.
Okay, all right.
Stuart Little had a run.
Yeah, no, I thought it was gonna clean house, to be honest.
I actually kind of forgot about that movie. Damn, but that movie, dude, I loved that movie as a kid. That was so sick. Just the fun stuff that they did with, like, you know, they had a boat. You know, they had like a little toy boat, but he's like
that's
riding.
what I always think of.
Yeah, but he's riding in the boat, and it's like the biggest storm of all time, and it's like the craziest thing ever. But it's just this tiny little boat. That movie's great.
It really is. Honestly, it made me want to go back and, like, as I was like looking at movies that had talking animals, I was like, I honestly kind of want to go back and watch Stuart Little just for old timeme's sake.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it came out in 1999. Like, I didn't realize how old that movie was. It's been a minute.
Now that I think about it, like, because obviously it's the CGI of like a little talking mouse. So like, I haven't seen it in a long time. Like, I wonder if that CGI holds up. We got to do it on the podcast, man. I'm adding it to the list.
100%. 100%. That I completely forgot about that. I knew there'd be like some like back and forth between that and like Alvin the Chipmunks. Maybe I don't know how you felt about 100 Dalmatians. I messed with that movie when I was a kid.
Yeah,
but obviously, like, I don't know if you did. So I was glad that it got a little love there. But a little fun game. Shout out to 101 Dalmatians.
Facts. And Stuart Little.
And Stuart Little. I almost threw, like, I was looking at a list like just from online, and they had a couple movies on there. I was like, nah, that doesn't count. They threw Scooby-Doo on there. I'm like, Scooby doesn't talk. That doesn't count. He's just Reggie. I'm like, no. That's not a talking animal movie.
You're right.
That's he's barely even saying words.
Yeah, he doesn't count. I wonder. There's none else that come off the top of my head, but Scooby-Doo doesn't count.
Yeah, there's Paddington, but you hadn't seen it, so I didn't even put it on there. But
True.
For whatever reason, I think I knew you didn't see that movie. But that's all I got on my end. That being said, I think it's time for the Filmmies.
Let's do it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, time for the Filmmies. This is our award show. We got 6 awards. We're going to jump straight into it, with the first one being the fit check, the best or worst fit of the movie. Who gets your fit check for the Sheep Detectives?
Actually, this movie, we've gone through a stretch of a couple movies where we're just like, oh man, like I was struggling. I actually had a good time looking at some fits in this one.
Yeah.
And I'm actually pretty excited about my fit.
Okay.
I'm really messing with my fit, and I didn't realize that it actually kind of doesn't completely go with my fit, but it's purple because I went a purple route with my fit. This is like a light purple. The fit I'm talking about is purple, dark purple, but I went with Lydia, so Emma Thompson's character, the one that was kind of the lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she came through, like, it's when we really first see her. She came through with a purple skirt business suit. It had the white stripes with the 6 buttons. She had a gold watch. She had the triangle gold earrings. She had the gold frame glasses with the purple tint. I was just like, that's my fit. That's that's my fit. I'm a sucker for purple too. That's usually like a scapegoat route for me if I ever just not sure. I'm like, oh, I just love purple. So shout out Lydia, that you cleaned up with that fit.
Yeah. I mean, she's coming through, like, she's the lawyer. She has a nice car, clearly has money. So, you know, she's going to have, I feel like normally you got to at least, if a lawyer's a dude, you know, he's just wearing a suit, you know, you got to be professional. But if you're a woman, then you can wear a nice dress or a pantsuit, or like you can get a little more creative with it. And she was getting creative with it. Yeah, she had some crazy fits. Like, she was always like had a really big pop of color or anything. Even especially like when they're like in the will reading, the room's really dark. Like they did well, like matching that like dark feel of like the whodunit with like the fun stuff. She was really fun with her fits. I don't have the same fit, but she was 100% standing out with her fits. I actually gave it to Beth. She had some great fits too.
That was my honorary.
The innkeeper. And it's when she steals the letter. She's got like the floral pants, floral jacket as well on top, with a purple shirt, like a purple blouse. She had like thin but like pretty wide round glasses. Nice little necklace, earrings. Like the whole look was really put together, really popped. And I liked the haircut. It was like a short brown hair. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. Beth was kind of bad, man.
Yeah.
George wasn't messing with her, but like I like the fit. I like the haircut. Beth was bad.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't see Lily. I mean, we saw a daughter, but that's not
True.
100% copy and paste. You're not gonna look exactly, but maybe Lily was no joke either. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Hey, George gets with some tens,
Yeah,
man.
that's
I don't know.
true.
Girls love
That is,
a sheep shepherd, I guess.
I guess so. I mean, yeah, he came through.
Yeah.
You're 100% right with the whole Beth fits too, because throughout the movie she's got like all the flower themed fits, and like you said it too. You said the thing that almost made me go to the purple shirt. I was like, damn, I got two purple fits to compete with. This is kind of tough, but in the end I went with Lydia. But yeah, I 100%. That was my secondary fit
Hmm.
that I was balancing between. So I'm not mad with that.
Yeah. Two good
This
picks.
movie was they gave us an abundance of fits to pick between
You're right.
in a movie about sheep.
All right, next we have our Ferris Bueller award. This is our lazy award. Who is the laziest person in this movie? Who gets your Ferris Bueller?
This one was really easy for me. Like in the sense,
Okay.
like as soon as I saw the opportunity of something, I was like, that's what it is. And it goes to George.
Okay.
George gets my Ferris Bueller because it's very plain and simple. It's for not trimming Wool-Eye's wool around his eyes. Like
That's such a
it's
great
just
point, bro. I was literally thinking, I was like, you named him Wool Eyes, but you control like the length of his wool. So like you're just like this. I guess this sheep, he was like, this guy has no personality. I got to give him something. I'm gonna leave his wool eyes long and call him Wool Eyes. But that's that's a really good pick.
But to me, it's to his detriment because he can't see. You're
Yeah.
just asking for him to hurt himself at this point. Like he's bumbling into things. Like he's just a mess. Like even if you just had him be Shaggy, but just give him a little bit. Like
Mhm.
we see his POV sometimes, and he literally can't see anything. It's just dangerous.
That's true. Actually, that was a fun little touch that they gave us a POV shot of him, just so we understand that like he can't see when he goes into the trailer and he's trying to look for the book. And that's such a good point. That like that's George. It's not like this is a naturally occurring thing. Like, oh, this sheep just has woolly eyes. It's like, no, you're trimming the sheep. Trim his eyes. Or maybe it is. Maybe he
That's
just
what I'm
has
saying.
insane. His eyes just grow like that in a day. I don't know. Probably not. So I like your pick.
His whole day is just taking care of these sheep, though. So like, what? It's like, how long does it take to cut his? He's making this mixer to cure oaf, but he can't cut some guys. That's what I'm just saying. It's laziness.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're like it's not. He has no personality, so I can't name him something else. Name him. Also, name the Winter Lamb. Like, there's just a lot of laziness, but I'm just going towards the not cutting Wool-Eye's wool.
That's
Come
true.
on,
Well,
George.
I think to be fair, we never saw any other like addition of a sheep. So it's not like we understand that okay, as soon as he gets a sheep, he names them. Like maybe he sits with them for a while, kind of sees their personality, sees what they're like, and then gives them a name. So maybe it was just too early for the Winter Lamb. He was like, I just don't know
That's
what
fair.
to name you yet, and then he died before he got the chance. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that one.
That's fair.
But but Wool Eyes, that's a good pick. I like that.
Yeah. What about you though? Where's your Ferris go?
I also gave it to George. And
Okay.
it's for poor meadow control. So Sebastian just leaves every day, and as soon as like Lily and Mopple need to like go into town to like investigate this thing, he's like, "Oh, I'll show you how to leave," and they just walk out. Like there's just an open gate, and they're just at the road. They're scared to cross the street, but they're like, there's nothing stopping them from doing that.
Yeah.
And also when they're like, "Oh, there's the next meadow over. It's Caleb's meadow. Let's go over there." And they're just over there. I'm like, how like I feel like it's got to be tougher. Like you got to keep your
That's
sheep
fair.
in contained somehow. They can just walk out and about. Like how have you not lost sheep? I feel like that's just lazy.
A very good point. Yeah, and like he doesn't have like it's not like he has a dog. Like a lot of shepherds have like the dogs that keep them in line. He doesn't have that, and he has no gates. There's just open land where it's just like that's a very good point. That's a very good point. I get it. His sheep like him, so there's no reason for them to even like wander off. But like he doesn't really know that. Like he can't speak to them. He's just nice to them. But they're also sheep. If they just want to walk and they just walk, they forget. So maybe they forget that George is a good guy. Like I don't. That's a little thing too. Like how do they choose what they forget?
I think they just forget the painful stuff. So like when someone dies,
I guess that's fair. But I just feel like once or twice they'd like maybe just forget where they are. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But hey, whatever.
So that's why you got to
Periscope.
have a closed fence so that they can't get out. But he's like, he even acknowledges, he's like, that's Sebastian. He leaves all the time. It's like, well, you can fix that. You can stop him from doing that.
That is true.
I attribute that to laziness. Next up, we have our sixth man. This is our Keldon Johnson Award. So someone with a small role in the movie or behind the scenes that did the most with that small opportunity. Who gets your sixth man?
I kind of grouped them because they're always together, so they're not really. But I gave it to Ronnie and Reggie.
Okay, yeah.
And I feel like they're in it like not enough that it's like they are kind of six men. Like they have like their moments, but like it's in and out. And they got their moment. You know, like they showed out in their small moment. They got their moment at the end with stopping Elliot, and it was something that kind of got a little like teased a little bit earlier when they were gonna go ram Caleb's, and he's like, no, we don't do it. And they're like, yeah, we know, unless it's something that I can't remember exactly what they said.
A reason like, to ram or something.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. So I'm like, that's gonna come back later. We're gonna get their they're gonna get their moment later. And they do get their moment. They really show out. I'm like, can they really mess up a car that much? Like the wheel was busted out. Like,
yeah, I think that maybe was a bit of a stretch, but like
even breaking the windshield. I was like,
I think they could probably do that because they jump on top. I feel like if you jump on top and ram a windshield, I feel like you could probably do that. I don't think you could bust the axle on a car though. that maybe was a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, but shout out to Reggie and to Ronnie and Reggie. It's voiced by one guy, so that's why I consume them as just one person.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There was just one guy that did the voice for them. Shout out, what's his name? Brett Goldstein. He voiced both of them, so I think it's fair to just count them as 1 6 man.
Nice. I mean, there was a lot of like
what about you?
The cast. I just there were surprises there, right? Like just like Bryan Cranston, Patrick Stewart, Regina Hall. It was like, there's actually like loaded. They actually threw a whole bunch of voices in here that I didn't expect. My sixth man, I gave to Ham, who's the butcher. I just thought he was funny in his moments, like when he does leave the will reading and like George in the letter tells him to come back, shut up, sit down, and then Caleb tells him like, have some class about you, and then he's like, shut your face. No, you shut your face. That was really funny. His whole like vegetarian thing. He's like, I don't know. I don't mind vegetarians on a woman, but on a man, it just doesn't seem right. And then when we find out later that Elliot dyes his hair, he's just like, I bet he's a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
That was funny.
Yeah, that is good.
And
also
lastly,
his name just being Ham is just hilarious too.
True.
Just very on the nose.
He's the butcher. He's Ham. I mean, I just chalk that up to like again, kind of like the self-awareness of this movie just being kind of ridiculous. It's funny though that he's like the only one. None of the other, like the Reverend isn't like a church name or like the
that's true.
No one else really has that, but for whatever reason, Ham does. But also when George dies and then the cop comes to like investigate the body, Caleb comes over. He was like, "Oh, I came to get him to sign papers." Ham comes in. He's like counting the sheep to like he's like, okay, there's 1, 2, and then he falls asleep.
Oh yeah.
I was like, oh, he's counting sheep, so he falls asleep. Awesome.
Yeah, that's a nice little nursery rhyme touch.
Yeah.
That like if you didn't catch, like I didn't even really catch it at first. I was like, why is he falling asleep? And I was like, he's counting sheep.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
Just like a cute little thing. It'd probably go over some kids' heads to be, because I don't know if that's just like a generational thing. I don't know if people are still counting sheep or if that's like a thing people even say.
Probably not.
Bring it back, yo. You got a kid. Bring it back.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
The next generation, get him to count sheep.
You're right. I'll keep the tradition going. Don't worry, I got you. All right, next we have our favorite quote. Self-explanatory. What was your favorite quote?
Mine went to Mopul, and we got talked about it earlier too, actually. But it's just a beautiful line for a kids movie. It's just when they're kind of really tapping into the whole theme of like forgetting, and he says it's our memory that keeps the ones that we love alive. Like to me, it's just a sweet line to have in this kids movie, and obviously they're just getting into this is Lily kind of discovering after Sebastian passes and realizing that like oh we don't turn into clouds, so like we're
Hmm.
really going into that, and I feel like that line just really anchors the the emotion that they're going through and that she's kind of discovering in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good pick, and like it kind of stands out because I had a tough time coming up with a favorite quote. Like there wasn't a bunch that like really stood out
Yeah,
to me. Those were the ones that kind of like stuff like that like it's a kids movie, so you kind of have to like say it out loud.
yeah,
So like that's a an example of that. But I like that. I kind of I went with the same similar kind of idea, not the same
hmm
quote, but like the same kind of thing, just saying it out loud. And it's they actually say it a few times throughout the movie, but I think George says it and Lily says it at the end is every sheep should have a name. And it's as simple as that. It's kind of the same thing. It's just like a nice little touch of like the theme that they were having throughout the movie. Like names are significant in the movie, and especially in the end, like when Rebecca finds out that her mom's name was Lily, I was like, oh, that's nice. And then
yeah.
she names the winter lamb George. I was like, oh, that's nice. It's just a nice little touch at the end of the movie, and I liked it.
Yeah, and it's just the whole concept of like remembering, right? It's
Yeah.
just like the way he remembers is he named that the sheep that the lamb that, and then the way that she's gonna remember is to name the next thing George. It's like keeping that memory alive versus just forgetting. So yeah, it's a great quote.
Yeah. I guess they kind of go hand in hand, our quotes, but not the same. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
like that.
they kind of do.
Or hoof and hoof. Is that what it is? Sheep? Do they have hoofs? I think it's
I
hoofs,
think
right?
so. I think it's hoofs, or is hoofs like a horse thing?
Yeah,
No, is that? I don't
yeah.
know.
Horses have hoofs. I'm googling
Does
this.
sheep have hoofs? Yeah.
Do
Yeah, we have
sheep
the power of the
have
internet in our hands.
hooves? Yes, sheep have hooves. Specifically, they have cloven hooves. Okay,
Okay. Cloven hooves.
which
All right.
means their hooves are divided into two distinct toes, often referred to as claws. Wow.
All right. Claws.
Yeah, I
Interesting.
never heard sheep claw. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
It is
But yes, they
interesting.
have
All right.
hooves.
Well, make sure you guys are taking your notes for the film rating
For,
test
yeah,
at the end of
test
the
later
year.
on.
Yeah, that's going to be on the
That's right.
test.
Yeah, that'll be on the exam. 40% of your grade. All right. Next, we have our best scene. What was your favorite scene?
My best scene is when Sebastian's telling his carnival story because
Mm,
I think it just to me it was just something that like there was this constant mystery of the movie that we just didn't know like where he came from, and like I kind of was hoping because maybe they did it, maybe they just kept him a mystery, but we got that background story that he was in a carnival and that George saved him, and that's why he's so loyal to him and like defends him throughout, and even just the why he's so defensive with the winter sheep thing. We learn more about that. I don't think that's necessarily in that scene, but or actually, no, I think it is.
mm,
I think it is when he's telling that story.
yeah, I'm not sure.
I think it is right after because yeah, because that is when he says that kind of defiantly is like, hey, sooner or later the winter sheep, because she's like, oh, where was your flock? And then he's like, yeah,
Oh,
sooner
yeah,
or later
yeah.
the winter lamb leaves, and like I didn't have a flock, so I thought that was it's really interesting because again, got that reveal and learning more about him, and that was my favorite scene. Shout out Bryan
Yeah.
Cranston, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a great pick. I mean, it's that really sets up the emotion for later on when he comes and saves them, and like you already feel for him a little bit because he's like cast to the side. He's a loner. There's a scene where there's the big storm and they're all hiding in the barn and he's still outside out on the rocks. And so you're already a little bit feeling for him. Then you get more backstory on him. You're like, oh, this guy was being like set up to fight dogs in the
Yeah.
carnival. So like he got saved by George. So like that, boom, immediately now you feel for him even more, builds that relationship with him and George, and it just that emotion of him, and you find out the winter lamb stuff, you're like, oh my god, Sebastian, my guy.
Yeah.
No, so yeah,
He's
it's a
been
great
through
pick.
it.
Yeah.
The fact that like every time we saw him and even we got close-ups on him, I was like, okay, he's just an old lamb. That's why he has like the scars and stuff on him. That just adds that context. It's like when you have a character that has like a scar on their face. And with
Hmm.
him, it was just a little more like he's just an old, right? Like old. So I was like, maybe he's just, I don't know what that could have been from anything. But then now you have the context. I'm like, oh, that's why he's all scratched up, because he was a fighter. I thought it was just like, I don't know, he fell or all these little things throughout the life. But it's like, oh, there's the story of those scars. We get that story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. True. Which, so that scene goes hoof and hoof with my scene again,
Hey.
bro. It's not the same. I didn't pick the same scene. I picked Sebastian when he fought the dogs. So it's kind of like yours is kind of like the setup, and mine is kind of like the payoff. But it's the same, because I really like that storyline as well. Like just whole Sebastian's story. I really like that. So like when the dogs come in and they're running away from the meadow, they find out that they're slaughtering sheep, so they're running away. And the dogs come in and we're like, oh no, they're not going to make it. Sebastian comes in and like saves her with that first hit. And then he kind of like steps up and like stomps the ground. And we're like, oh, right. This guy used to do this.
Yeah.
And he's still here. So obviously he was surviving these fights. So obviously he's good at it. So a 2 against 1, and he just bodies these dogs. I was like, hell yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean? I was just fired up. And
tough.
right after this is when Lily realizes the error of her ways, like forgetting things, and talks to George's ghost and finds out who the killer is. And so it feels like this big climactic moment in the movie. I really liked it.
Yeah. I guess we didn't mention that part, but the part where Lily's just like, I'm not as strong as you, Sebastian, and she's about to do the 1, 2, 3. I'm like, oh damn, like she's gonna forget, like where's our movie gonna go from this?
Yeah.
But she gets stopped by George's ghost, and it's just I didn't expect to see that much of a character arc in this movie. Just Lily in general, just like having her go through those moments. And yeah, that's a great scene. We, like you said, we went hoof and hoof, claw and claw on our favorite scenes.
On our favorite scenes and quotes, like Sebastian, like when he dies and Lily's just like, wait, that's real? Like people, well, I guess she didn't realize that people die because George died. And then she's like, wait, he's not turning into a cloud? What the heck? I thought, like, what's happening here? But then we see at the end, when we see the big sheep cloud in the sky, we're like, oh, that's Sebastian. He did turn into a cloud. Like, man.
No, that's awesome.
Man. So good. Finally, we have our MVP award. Who gets your MVP?
This was a little tough for me. I was balancing between 2 characters, but then I went with Sebastian. We were kind of talking up in the whole scene thing, and to me, it was just, I think he had the most interesting character because he was so mysterious. So I was just intrigued with what was going on with that character. I think he commanded attention every time he spoke. Obviously, Bryan Cranston, the iconic voice. A lot of people know him from as Walter White. He has that like that grainy kind of voice, and it's just the interesting background that we were talking about. The both of us, we were again hoof and hoof, claw and claw on what was the most interesting parts of the movie, and it had to do with him and his hero moment. Like, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe you could speak on how you felt about it, in the sense of like, I don't know if you expected it. I didn't see it coming. I didn't be like, oh, there's dogs. We know that guy's background story. This is gonna be his hero moment. So I didn't expect that, and I didn't know if he was gonna die, because I don't know how much loss we're gonna get in this movie, because it's a kids movie. I don't know if we're gonna get 2 deaths that we're gonna have to deal with in this movie, but we got 2 of them. And shout out Sebastian, man. Like that character was the MVP of the movie for me.
It's a great pick. I mean, I totally agree. His story was really great. I really liked it too. I agree with you. I didn't see it coming that he was going to save the day when the dogs were chasing Lily. But I will say, once the fight started, I knew he was going to die. I was like, this is the perfect, like, as much as I liked him and I felt for him, I was like, for the story, like, this is the perfect end for him. Like, he goes out saving his flock that he never had. He never was part of a flock. Now he feels included in this flock, saves Lily to continue that. And he goes out he wins the fight, but dies from his injuries. So I was like, this goes hand in hand with his backstory. I was like, this is just, it's weird to say that I wanted him to die there, because I liked him so much. I didn't want him to die, but like, I just, like, for the story, I was like, it's the perfect time. Like, he's going to go.
Yeah. For the arc of his character. Like, it could have been satisfying if it was just like, it became like this thing, and we got him just like now be a part of the flock and he was embraced, but we already kind of got that with Winter Lamb. So I think they were like similar characters, And then like this is like early Sebastian. He's almost like the replacement of Sebastian.
Right.
It's like we kind of treated Sebastian like that. He passed and like they learned from their ways kind of thing. It's like, no, we got to bring in him so he doesn't have to go through what Sebastian went through of
Right.
maybe having to go to a carnival and then being beat down and then like being alone for majority of his life. So I think it works in that aspect. If that the Winter Lamb wasn't there, maybe would have been like nice if like let's just get Sebastian in with us. But the fact that we kind of get like this generational, no, we're not going to make that same mistake with this new Winter Lamb kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a good point. I think that's exactly why, not why Winter Lamb's in there. Like he's involved in the rest of the story too, but like for Lily, I think that's why. Like what, like right after she comes back at the end of the movie, she's like, "No, we're gonna bring in the Winter Lamb. We're gonna give him a name because I just realized that Sebastian's a Winter Lamb, and he's great. You know, he just saved me, and he should be part of the flock. So there's not actually anything wrong with a Winter Lamb. So I learn the consequence of that mistake with Sebastian. Now I'm going to correct that. Come on in, George. And it's great.
Yeah. What about you though? Who's your MVP?
I gave my MVP to Kyle Balda, who's the director of the movie. I just love the tone and the feel. Like I talked about, when you have this dark whodunit murder mystery in a movie with talking sheep and heavy emotional background stories and stuff, and like in two separate movies that could totally work, but to have them both together and really have it come together, I think is a lot harder than it sounds. So I give him a lot of credit for that. Well executed vision. It could have easily just been really corny and ridiculous having these two things together. Like we talked about at the start too, like just the logistics of like getting voice recordings in and then having the CGI, mixing that with human actors and what they were actually acting against in these scenes. I don't actually know, but whatever they came up with, it worked. So I give them credit for that. I just think it was put together really, really nicely. So I give Kyle Balda my MVP.
That's a great pick. I actually did a little deep dive on him because I was curious about him because I never
Same.
because I like the movie so much. I kind of started like I saw the way like I was like, has he done other stuff that I'm familiar with? And I thought it was interesting that his journey started off with like visual effects. For those that don't know, like he did visual effects on The Mask, on like the '95 Jumanji, and then he was like an animator for a lot of his career. Like he did Bugs Life, Chicken Run, Monsters Inc., Shrek 3, Madagascar 2, and then on the directing side, he did The Lorax, Minions, Despicable Me, and Despicable Me 2. So he's been in this space of doing visual effects and CGI and animating. So like this isn't like a new thing. Like he's not like this young buck, like just like, oh, give this guy a chance. Like he's been in this world, and a lot of the like the actors and stuff were just like just the way they were talking about him, like how he was on set, and like his direction and the way he storyboarded. This is a guy that's been in the game for 20 years. He knows what he wants to do with like the CGI and just how we're gonna make this work and stuff like that. So no, well deserved. Shout out Kyle Balda.
Yeah, that's why I say like well executed vision. Whatever he did, it worked. And I mean, you were shouting out the CGI too earlier in the episode, saying just how great it looked. I'm sure he had a big hand in that as well. So like, honestly, the movie as a whole like just came together so nicely too. Like the way it was cut and like the way they leave you kind of on the hook for a little bit. You're like, what's going on here? And then they answer it later on. Like it's just a lot of decisions that were made that really worked out. So great work, the whole team. But I gotta obviously give it to the head of the snake.
100%. I also want to shout out the writer too, Craig Marzin, because I looked at it like his journey too, which I thought was kind of funny too. Like I don't know if you saw it, like what he did before.
I didn't look into him. No.
It's just funny how we started. Like he was the writer for Scary Movie 3, 4, Superhero Movie, and Hangover 2 and 3. And I'm like, those are raunchy adult comedies. And then he did Chernobyl. I don't know if you ever heard of Chernobyl.
Oh, the TV show? That's like
the TV show.
It's like rated one of the best ever. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm like, how did you go from those raunchy comedies to Chernobyl? And then he was this and then
sheep movie.
Like the range where he's just like, I've been waiting for this. I've just been doing freaking raunchy parody movies in The Hangover, and now it's like Chernobyl. He was the lead writer for the Last of Us TV show that came out, and then Sheep Detective. I'm like, what a journey.
Yeah.
this man has been on. And
Yeah, bro's got range.
and him and Kyle just made magic, man. They're like, let's go make a movie about sheep.
Yeah, honestly, I can see their partnership continuing, man. If you got a great
Yeah.
writer and a great director, I mean, like all those other movies are all live action, so maybe if Kyle Balda, if he specializes in that animation stuff, then maybe they'll go separate ways. But if you keep doing like mixed things like this with a bit of CGI and a bit of human acting, I don't know if it can work this time. Keep going.
Let's go. Let's do Stewart Little 4, yo. Let's get it together.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Let's get these guys to do Stewart Little 4. They can make some
Hell
magic.
yeah. Exactly.
But great pick. I'm a great MVP. No
Thank you.
certifies this week, but
Yeah, two close ones. Like
Two
the hand
close
in hand
ones.
with the scene
Yeah.
and the quote, but yeah. And even the fit check was close, but
yeah, but
no,
all in all,
no actual
great
certifieds.
movie.
Yeah.
No certifies, but it's all right. We were still on we're still on the same wavelength on just liking this movie. Like it wasn't like
Yeah.
one of us like had a terrible time, the other person loved it. But yeah, fun pick. If you guys want to join the conversation, you can follow us on our social medias. We're on Instagram, we're on TikTok, we're on Reddit at the Film Room Pod. You can listen to the episodes on Spotify and Apple, on YouTube. Search the Film Room Podcast. Like I said, if you want to join the conversation, a lot of the polls are on Instagram mostly. I don't know why I'm saying mostly. They're on Instagram. I always say
Only,
mostly.
yeah.
They're just, it's just only.
Well, Reddit. I throw out the question
Yeah.
on Reddit too.
It's not
so
a
you
poll on Reddit though, but it's
No.
just more just answering the question. So if you want to be part of the conversation for that, if you want to support the show, we'd appreciate a review. How many are we? Hooves, claws,
Five
What do you want to do?
hooves.
5
Five
hooves.
hooves. Yeah. Five
And,
hooves. Five. I don't know what
I'll
else.
try to
was
think of some
involved.
other stuff.
Medicine. 5 blue hand
Offs,
orf
yeah,
medicine
5. Yeah,
things.
there's a lot. Yeah, we'll go with claws just because we just learned that.
5 sheep.
Make sure,
Just don't count.
5 sheep.
You might fall asleep.
yeah,
You might fall asleep on the.
No, that's a good. Yeah, that's a good. That's a good one. Do you have any final thoughts? Any final things you want to say before we say goodbye on this one?
I mean, it was a good movie. I mean, I guess going in, I kind of expected to like it more than I expected, if that makes any sense. Just because
The word of mouth.
the word of mouth, yeah, was really positive. I was like, okay, this is it. The word of mouth is better than I expected. So I kind of went in with, I guess, the expectations that I had of like, okay, I guess this will probably be a fun movie, but it still beat those expectations, even with the good word of mouth. So it was fun.
It was a fun time. And to close off, I want you guys to remember that winter lambs are the ones you want to keep close, just like the host of this podcast.
True.
Do you consider yourself a winter lamb? Like technically, I guess the first day of winter is December 21st.
Is that true?
What the first day of
That's the first day of winter? Oh, I didn't know
I'm pretty
that.
sure, yeah. I just threw
I
you in
mean-
there. You're a winter lamb. I'm a winter lamb. I was born in
You're a
February.
winter lamb. I'm
You're
born in December. That to me
You're
is
a winter
winter.
lamb. Yeah, we're winter lambs.
We have
Yeah.
names, and we love you guys.
Peace out.
Peace.